Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 71. You're here with Corey, Doug, and Murph. Thanks as always for joining us. Today we're going to dive into Volume 2 of Stranger Things 4. We're going to talk about what it did well, where we think they made mistakes, what we're looking forward to in Stranger Things 5, things like that. But before we get to that, let's talk about some other recent releases, including the series finale or season finale, not so sure about it, of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're going to talk about The Boys, specifically the Herogasm episode, plus Ms. Marvel's middle chapter slump. That is basically, if you've been watching our last few episodes, just seems to be a regular occurring thing with Disney Plus programs. And then we'll also talk about the Black Phone and Elvis. But yeah, only a couple of us saw that, so we'll keep those two a little brief. But yeah, Doug, The Boys, you want to talk about Herogasm?
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted about Herogasm just because there was a lot of hype behind this event that we were gonna see that was just gonna melt our minds on how graphic and crazy it was going to be. I think they talked about how they had to go through their attorneys, and they were shocked that the Amazon was allowing them to put this episode together, and they could have never put this together in the earlier seasons. I mean, I get it. You're trying to build hype because that's what you do to get people to watch your show. I think they probably would have been better off not hyping this episode up at all. Or at least not, if they were going to hype it up, not hyping up that aspect of it, because I don't even think it was like the craziest thing we saw this season of The Boys. I think that after that episode 1 of this season opener with the Ant-Man character, like, that was far crazier and grosser and than anything that I saw happen during that orgy. I just thought, like, how do you open with that and then pitch this crazy sex party that, I don't know, just felt kind of tame. I don't know if, like, that says something about me or what, but I was just like, this doesn't feel that crazy. It kind of feels like a Skinamax.
Yeah, episode. The only thing that got me, which we didn't talk about like in our text messages after because I had like forgotten about it, was like that toilet shot of somebody sitting on the toilet, and it was like a camera like from underneath.
Yeah,
that was like the one thing where I was like, okay, I'm pretty fucking shocked they like did that. But other than that, yeah, the Ant-Man scene from the premiere was a million times grosser than anything that was shown in Herogasm. I mean, there was the one character whose fucking dong wrapped around.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that guy before.
Yeah,
though.
We saw exactly. I was gonna say we saw him last season, and like it was like the same thing. So like that wasn't shocking. And then they've shown crazy sex stuff previously, like as early as I think the pilot of the show or the second episode, when they went into like a secret nightclub that a lot of the supers hung out at. So that stuff really didn't shock me at all.
I mean, this was like soft. There was like Skinamax type stuff. Like, I guess you would call like softcore porn, but it was like porn star scenes, and they would make somebody's like eyes glow, or like I don't know. It was just like not. I was kind of unimpressed by their imagination on some of this stuff. I know they had like that giant like splash of semen that hit on Mother's Milk.
But we saw that shit in Scary Movie back in 2000.
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy. Yeah, so that part of it wasn't. I didn't think it was particularly great, but I thought overall the episode was strong. I guess what I did like about it is I was a little worried that we were just gonna have this over the top sex episode that like didn't advance the plot at all, and we got the opposite. We got like a like this. It wasn't really about Herogasm at all. It was actually one of like the biggest steps we took as far as advancing the plot was
Yeah.
this episode, and then Herogasm just happened to be like the place where all the characters would meet essentially.
Yeah, like it could have been a normal like, oh, we have to go to our convention to like actually have important business, and like all that same shit could have happened. So it really didn't. The fact that it was a Herogasm really was besides the point.
Yeah, it was kind of just like a background. You're right. It could have been like where empty warehouse.
Yeah,
And it was all,
and been just as good because of everything that was being developed from as far back as the pilot, like getting to that point. Like it touched on so many things from the history of the show.
yeah. I mean, I think the best thing from that episode to me was I loved the battle against Homelander, where we had a powered up Huey, a powered up Butcher, and then we had Soldier Boy. All three having to face against Homelander, and it was kind of like reminded me a little bit of Infinity War.
Yeah.
Where they seemed to catch him by surprise because he didn't expect them to all be powered up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Huey's power is hilarious. And it works really well for him. The whole like teleportation, but his like clothes don't come with him, so he's always naked.
Yeah.
I really like that for that character, and I thought like his appearance where he like teleports in naked was kind of funny. I thought Homelander's dynamic with Soldier Boy was fun when you know, Homelander's talking about how he's like the upgrade, and Soldier Boy's like I'm the original, which that I guess pays off a little bit more in the next episode. But yeah, I just thought this episode was a lot of fun. I think the fight's probably the biggest thing that sticks out of my head is just like how awesome it was to see the three of them go up against Homelander and essentially win. Was kind of cool, and it was kind of, you know, a good moment for Homelander, or for the character of Homelander, to kind of just see his ego get bruised.
There was so much though. Like it wasn't even just that. Like there was. I mean, that was clearly like the big moment. But like there was A-Train, like his heart going out. You had Huey confronting him, and A-Train actually apologizing for what happened. Back in the pilot, you had Starlight quitting the Seven, exposing Homelander and Vought for being fucking scumbags. There was so much that just happened in that episode. And yeah, obviously the fight is easily the biggest thing, but everything else that's surrounded it was also just a blast to watch.
Yeah, it was interesting because we felt like we weren't advancing the plot, and they were just like, here we go.
Yeah, here's everything. We are going to advance everything in one episode, and you're going to fucking love it. What do you think? There wasn't much to talk about as far as episode 7. You and I haven't even spoken about it yet, other than thinking it was somewhat of a letdown after everything that happened in the previous episode.
That's what I thought. Which I was curious. I don't think I ever got your reaction because I noticed that I was in what seemed to be the minority. A lot of people were talking about how great episode 7 was. That 7 was even better than 6, or at least that was some
I
of the
definitely
reviews
I don't agree with that. I thought it was a good episode, but yes, it was somewhat of a letdown in comparison to the previous one. What do you think of the twist? I didn't like the twist.
It didn't. I'd like to see how they handle it. I'd be curious to like who the mother is, because I think I know. I can guess who people probably think the mother could be, which would be an interesting dynamic.
Are you guessing Crimson Countess or?
No, I was guessing. I was thinking like Stormfront.
Oh, that would make sense.
just to like
I mean,
be in character.
the two of them are the ones that formed Herogasm, and yeah, that would make a lot of sense for Homelander's mommy issues.
Yeah, then like basically, and then have him having sex with his mom.
Yeah, no,
It'd be on
that would
brand.
be very much on brand with the show. Um, when did
Yeah,
When did Stormfront disappear though? Did she ever disappear? She had to.
she just stopped like wearing her superhero outfit. I thought,
Okay.
and like pretended to be like a normal person. I thought was what Stormfront was up to.
Yeah, I can't really remember what exactly the deal was with her character because weren't they surprised she was a Nazi in season 2? Like they didn't realize she was an old soup.
Yeah, because she went away and then came back as she reinvented herself because
Okay,
they didn't realize that she didn't age.
got it. Yeah, it's got to be Stormfront. That makes perfect sense.
We'll see. It would definitely explain why Homelander is the way he is. Um,
Oh man, Homelander with the fucking cow. It's such a weird show.
yeah,
Wasn't there? Isn't there like a sex scene with the Deep and an octopus?
Yes,
Okay, I did hear about that, and I
not
was
just
like, oh,
one. They are having it many times now.
okay, oh, it's a reoccurring
yeah. I feel
reoccurring
like
intercourse. Okay,
they gotta cut Chase Crawford like a break.
he was that character seems to have gotten more and more ridiculous. I mean,
I
I only
think
watched
like
season 1 so far.
it seems like Chase Crawford's just like whatever the writers want me to do, I'm gonna do it, and they just keep like pushing it and seeing
Yeah.
how like far they can make him go.
In the last episode, he proposes a threesome with his wife and an octopus.
So he's got an octopus fetish. Got it.
I mean, he's part fish. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
part. He's down to clown with humans.
Is he
and
part fish though? Like
he's got fucking gills.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's
got
part
gills.
fish.
I guess. But yeah, he used to seem like he was into all sea life, but yeah, he's going through an octopus phase right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, that was-
ever since he had to eat his friend in the beginning of the season,
Oh, man.
he's had that fetish, as he put it.
yeah, he's just always. I think every episode he's with an octopus.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. I'm hoping my boy Soldier Boy doesn't die at the end
I
of
don't-
the season.
I don't want him to become a bitch based on that twist at the end. Like he's fucking awesome now. He's had 2 episodes in a row where he's just like a great character, where they finally unleashed him, and now I'm worried that with this twist that they did, that it's going to change the game, and he's not going to be nearly as interesting.
Yeah, I was hoping that Soldier Boy would like take over as like leader of the Seven at the end of this season, and then they realize that he's way worse than Homelander, and that they need to team up with Homelander to take down Soldier Boy. It's kind of what I was hoping
Yeah.
they would do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just take out Soldier Boy at the end of this season.
Boo! I don't like that idea.
So, outside question: have you guys liked Jensen Ackles a lot?
Yeah, it's Soldier Boy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great. He does a very good job of playing a man trapped in time, trapped in the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything, not even clips, and that casting seemed like a really good choice. So that's why I was curious.
That Bill Cosby joke was ridiculous.
Oh, about how he makes strong drinks.
Yeah, real family man.
You didn't know.
They really they don't give a fuck who they offend on the show. It's pretty spectacular. I mean, for the most part though, it's very much like attacking like the Trump and the far right of the world. I mean, they have gotten so blatantly.
Yeah, that's I think their like weakness at some points. Like they did
I
it
agree
again
with.
with
I agree with that.
Homelander in this last episode, and I think that's part of what I didn't like about the last episode is they went back to that back to that well that they seem to keep going to and like I get it. Like I thought I think when it's more subtle it plays a little better for me than when you're just like
Agreed. Yeah,
we're just gonna
we're just going to take what's happening in the news and put it in the boys
right.
and apply it to superheroes. Because that's
And
what
they
you and I talked about it like maybe 3 weeks ago. That like I thought they were just fucking hitting the nail on the head way too hard, and it was like cracking the show. But yeah, which was the situation in the latest one that you were talking about? Was it one of his speeches or?
was this the one where he was accusing Starlight of capturing children and having like an underground
Oh yes. Yeah,
is like
underground
basically the
cabal.
Hillary Clinton stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
like she's got a pizza place that's got like a secret
Yeah.
lair that
Just oh god. But yeah, I get what you mean. And maybe that'll
I
change.
get it. Like yeah, they find
season
it.
4.
You know, there's some funny things in pop culture that they could make fun of. I just think they're going a little hard.
Yeah, I mean it's just so hard to satirize what's going on or what's been going on in the world just because everything seems so ridiculous that it can't even be true that it's really fucking tough to pull off satirizing it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully they don't go. Hopefully they restrain themselves a little bit. But what do we have? One episode left.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll talk about that on our next episode. Ms. Marvel. Again, the show we're nearing the end of. I did not watch today's yet. I'm assuming you did not either.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not sure to watch the show.
So we have 2 episodes to go. We were both very happy with the first 2 episodes. So I think we both agreed that 3 was slightly worse, but still like had some good stuff. 3 is when they really introduced the bad guys. But it had some cool fight scenes, I thought, at the wedding and things like that.
And the wedding was fun.
The wedding was fun.
I enjoyed the wedding.
All the characters are there. That's great. And then we've got episode 4. It takes them out of New Jersey, puts them in Pakistan to bring about a ton of new characters. The only returning characters are really Kamala and her mom. And then this is where I think they are hitting that middle chapter slump that the Disney Plus shows love to hit. It's when you can tell they've expanded from a movie to a TV show, and things are just not firing on the cylinders that they were at the beginning of the show. And now I'm worried for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I think it's they like create something unique and interesting.
Corey, you want to update the banner for what's being talked about for anyone who was worried about the boys?
That's true.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, Doug.
Yeah, I was just saying they create something unique and interesting, like what we enjoyed about the first couple episodes of Miss Marvel. And then they just like, I don't know if they have like a directive. They probably do, but they like take whatever was unique and interesting and like throw it in the trash by the time you hit the middle. They're just like, here's the Marvel formula that we've got to achieve. There's got to be a big bad, and there's got to be a conflict, and there's got to be a big battle that we don't have the money to afford to look cool, so it's gonna look shitty. And it just, as soon as we started steering away from like I enjoyed just like
coming of age aspect.
I just wanted the coming of age aspect with like the school and stuff. And like just her like everyday issues. I thought that was really fun and refreshing.
Yeah, and it was different also because it was dealing with like people that are never represented on television. So it's not like exactly the same as every other coming of age story. It's like it's like interesting in its own way, like to watch these like cultures and how like they live their lives, and in a way that's completely different than they've ever been represented. I'm speaking about Pakistanis, Muslims on any fucking movie or TV show. Like when I'm thinking of like Muslims on television, I'm thinking of 24 and the way that they were presented in like the 2000s, where they were all fucking wanting to blow up the world.
Yeah, they're always the bad guys.
Yeah, now you're actually seeing what a normal family is like, and how like society actually is for 99.9% of these people. So it's like it's cool
Yeah.
to see that.
And she just got her power, so she doesn't have to save the world. Like she could just be coming to grips with her powers and being a teenager in high school, and like I thought that was perfectly fine. I was happy. I thought that's what it was going to be, and I was happy about that.
Yeah,
Um,
these shows just suck at superhero stuff. Like Hawkeye could have just been fucking Clint and Kate Bishop like hanging out, and it would have been more entertaining than like when they're dealing with the bad guys.
yeah, because the bad guys that they create are just they're like these caricature bad guys. They don't have, like I said, they don't have the budget. It seems like to do any like great action, but they still insist on doing shitty action. I mean, this story, like, so I know you said you don't like when we did talked about this earlier, and you had mentioned that you don't like when TV shows like leave the location and they go like overseas or whatever. I actually thought that was neat because I had never seen like a city in Pakistan represented, and although it seemed pretty clear that we didn't actually go to Pakistan, I thought it was cool. I actually enjoyed that part of it because I was like, this is a cool perspective. You know, we're not in the desert with the same thing. We're not in the desert with like soldiers shooting and suicide bombers.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
This is just like a nice normal city. I think, you know, they go to like the country club or whatever to have lunch, and I was like,
oh, this place looks awesome.
Yeah. I was like, this is great. This is like what I like to see, and this is enjoyable. What I didn't like is we've got these like the bad guys like got captured the season before, and then they have like this comical breakout.
And then they were in Pakistan like 5 minutes later.
Then they pop up in Pakistan. Then you've got these other group of good guys called like the Red Knives or whatever.
Yeah.
And
they lost me on that. It was similar to Frenchie, his plot line with the Russians on The Boys, where like I just tune out.
Oh yeah, they were horrible. They were just like talking about their convoluted plot line and how there's this convoluted story about dimensions taking over their world, and how there's this, you know, I guess Avengers level threat that Kamala Khan needs to have to deal with. And
I feel like all these characters like shitty versions of the Eternals, like uninteresting like versions of like, oh well, we've been around for so long and like blah 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 blah, but they're just not interesting at all. And like they have all this history to talk about, but it's just not interesting. And
how many episodes are left?
2. But they're bad. I would say the biggest problem, other than like the bloat in the middle of these Marvel seasons, are they just have not had one good bad guy. They are on like phase 1 Marvel bad guys right now, where they have not made one good one. WandaVision, shitty villains. Winter Soldier, shitty villains. Loki, shitty villains. I mean, you only had the villain in like the last episode.
I thought Kang was. I mean, he wasn't really a villain though.
Exactly. So I wouldn't even. So the villains were more the people at the TVA. Then you had Hawkeye. They wasted Kingpin. Didn't bring him until the very end, similar to Kang. And
They made him weird.
Yeah.
He was not as. He was not the Kingpin from Daredevil.
He was a neutered Kingpin. And I mean, Ethan Hawke is a great actor and everything, and he's like a exciting presence to watch. But I didn't think his villain was anything special.
No, he started out interesting, and then they it's the same problem. I think all these shows start out interesting,
Yeah,
and then they just like it's like they don't know what to do with the
they
characters.
they are
keep
going
them-
to they're going to fool me again with their next show. I'm going to love the beginning, and then I'm going to be like, God damn it, it's fucking mediocre again.
Yeah, it's weird because it really feels to me like somebody's bringing this like fresh creative idea, and then Marvel is like tinkering with it into what they think it has to be,
I would
and it's
agree with
ruining
that.
it.
Yes, they're doing what they used to do on film when directors had no control over like what they were making. Like they couldn't put their touches on things. Like it had to be part of the Marvel vision, which they finally got out of, and they got out of the villain problem as well. They need to get out of that like ASAP because it is diluted. It's hurting the brand at this point.
Yeah, I mean these shows are getting to the point. I mean, I've been there. Like they tricked me with Miss Marvel, but I feel like I'm getting back there again, where I'm just like, I don't want to watch these shows.
I'm there already. That's why I haven't watched this yet. I have like no interest, and I like this character because I've read the comics or some of the comics.
I would say
no interest.
I don't know if it's gonna recover, but watch the first 2 episodes and you'll be like, oh, that was enjoyable.
Yeah.
And just stop.
Yeah, watch the first 2, and then maybe you can skip to episode 5. We'll let you know if it's worth watching. Otherwise, just watch the first 2 episodes and then go see the Marvels next year.
Yeah, it's a good introduction to her.
Yeah.
Both episodes are fun, fresh, and episode 3 isn't where the villains don't show up to episode 3, right? So you're good.
Yeah, one of them shows up at the very end of the second episode, but you don't know it's a villain. So yeah, that'd be perfect. Just watch the first 2 episodes and then see the movie next year, which will be probably a million times better.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like movies they can do well, but yeah, it's unfortunate that these TV shows aren't good.
There's a formula, and it's a terrible formula, but they're continuing to stick to it. It seems like it's the same exact song and dance.
Well, part of it is they make them ahead of time, so it takes. I would imagine it takes time to react. But I don't know. I don't know if they realize that they're turning out trash or not, or if because people are still viewing.
Exactly, I don't think they know yet.
I'm not going to say. I mean, you like what you like, but I mean, a lot of these shows that we have talked about, the 3 of us, and we're like, kind of wasn't that good. And then all of a sudden, and then you look online, people are like, "Oh my God, this was amazing! This was fantastic!" You know, Moon Knight is one of them. Like, it was good. It had its good moments, but it wasn't not a great like season of a television show.
I mean, you're always going to have people like stuff, but it seemed to me like across the board, people didn't like Moon Knight. That was the impression I got.
I got the impression that more didn't like it than did, but I definitely saw like people in our circle of friends that enjoyed it more than we did, who seemed more happy than not happy. So I don't know. I mean, ultimately, if some people are just going to like everything Marvel, then I don't know. That's not the type of person I want to listen to their feedback regarding, like, if I'm going to find out whether something's worth watching or not. I think it's important to actually judge each of these things for what they are, and either
you shouldn't get a pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because it's Marvel.
Exactly. Same goes for Star Wars. Same goes for everything else. Batman, whatever. The fact that there are varying degrees of quality is what makes something great that much more exciting when it is great. If everything was just good, then that'd be boring. So, yeah. I mean, right now, these things aren't good, and we're going to continue saying that until they consistently put out better product.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was on board to like Miss Marvel, so...
Yeah, we both were very fucking happy with it when it started.
Yeah, you guys were glowing.
Yeah, it was... Because it was good until it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to, episode 3 is when it started its downward turn. I really disliked 4. I don't know, maybe 5 is where it can pull itself back up.
Maybe.
It's hard to... Yeah, I don't want to count this one out just yet, but I don't like where it's trending.
For sure. All right. Where should we go next? Before we go to Obi-Wan, I feel like we should... Or before we go to the Black Phone, I think we should just continue on our Disney Plus rant.
All right.
If you guys are cool with that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Doug, you fucking hated Obi-Wan by the end of it, I feel like. Another show that you believe suffered from the old let's turn a 2-hour movie into a 6-hour miniseries. What were you so unhappy about compared to when it started with? Because when it started, you seemed pretty happy with the show.
I don't know. Where do I start with this one? Yeah, I think the overall story wasn't interesting. The places that they like, let's find out what Kenobi's been up to this entire time, and then it's like he gets into like hijinks for the majority of the show, and then the battle that everyone's looking forward to, they end it, and it just felt like they had the battle planned out and they were just killing time with kind of like not interesting story. Until then, it seemed like a lot of these episodes to me felt like episode of the week. Like episode of the week, like if this was a TV show that was running for seasons, it didn't feel like a mini series that they were telling one long story. I mean the decisions that characters made were frustratingly stupid. The Reva character never was interesting. In fact, they used her. I felt like the fact that they had that character in the last episode wound up playing to the show's overall detriment because they felt like they had to do something with her. Took away from the final battle between Obi-Wan and Vader for her to have this kind of ridiculous story where they send her to Tatooine and have her hunting Luke based on the stupid message that what's his face sent to Obi-Wan, which I already talked about how stupid it was that he sent that message in the first place. But then it's pretty scrambled, and she still figures out that Luke's on Tatooine and flies to Tatooine, and then we have like a chase where she's trying to kill Luke for some reason that isn't really clear. So like her motivations throughout this show, I just felt were unclear at best. The Vader stuff was cool, but I guess I would say I found it, I don't know, I just found like the whole like him giving up on tracking down, I don't know, none of this seemed like pretty, none of this seemed like really thought out in my opinion. Like the whole, like when we take up and they're chasing Obi-Wan and the ship and they're firing, they've got like that giant, what do they call it? Is it a Star Cruiser or what's the, it's a giant ass ship that Vader's in?
Yeah, like the Star Destroyer.
Sure. But they've got like this giant ass ship and they're chasing the little ship and they're like shooting the laser. They're like, oh no, we can't get them.
I'm pretty sure it's called the Star Destroyer. Can I get fact check?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it's a Super Star Destroyer. Or no, it's not a Super Star Destroyer, just a Star Destroyer. Because a Super Star Destroyer, I don't think was created until like Return of the Jedi type of thing. Yeah.
So that whole chase, I just thought it was kind of ridiculous, and then Obi-Wan has this like long ass time of where he needs to leave and go into his other ship to draw Darth away to the planet that happens to be nearby, and then Darth goes after him, and then also that big
classic Darth.
yeah, and then that big Star Destroyer, I guess, also goes with Darth Vader and couldn't go after the rest. There's just like so many stupid.
There are so many things that are like you have to
It's
just
just
suspend all fucking this like logic and disbelief in order to like enjoy it. I get that.
It's just frustrating that I'm like watching the show and I'm like, why?
You're also watching a show where things are going to have to go right back to the status quo of where things were before the show because we already know where it's going.
Yeah, which isn't helpful for like stakes, right? When Reva's chasing Luke, you're like, Luke's got to be fine. Unless we find out that she killed Luke and there's like some clone or something, which would really piss people off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
but they've done stuff like that in the other Star Wars movies, especially the originals. I think it lined up with like the campiness, I guess, of the original trilogy. I mean, the prequels were campy too in their own ways, but maybe that's what they were aiming for.
This didn't feel campy to me, at least. It felt just like poorly written. That's how I would describe it. It was poorly written. The whole idea of like I said, they cut what I thought was one of the better moments in this show, which is the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight, the final duel. They intercut it with that Reva going after Luke stuff, which I wasn't really interested in to begin with. But then, like we just said, there's no stakes. Like, you know, there's no suspense. You know, Luke's gonna be fine. You know, everyone's gonna be fine except for Reva. Like, we just
it's the problem.
We know where everyone.
Yeah, when all of their main characters are main characters from the other show or from the other like trilogy, that's what makes it different than like a Better Call Saul, which is dealing with a lot of new characters and also other like side characters versus like the main characters. So like you can find more about the characters you only knew so much about in like the original program, and they can develop all these side characters, and you wonder what their fates are because you haven't seen them in the original program. But with this one, it's pretty much only dealing, with the exception of Reva, and like some really fucking side characters that are inconsequential because they show up for 10 minutes total. Probably 10 minutes total.
Ice Cube Jr.
Yeah. You're not worried about what's going to happen to them. You're not interested in what's going to happen to them. And all the other ones, you know every little thing that there is to know at this point about Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, I was going to say Han Solo, Darth Vader, and Anakin Skywalker. Or Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So there's only so many surprises you can do. The only surprise we really got is finding out that Obi-Wan and Leia had a relationship prior to Star Wars, A New Hope.
Right. Yep. Which I don't have the affection that I know others may have, including others that are on this podcast, to the original or even to the new episodes. But I understand that some folks have problems with that just because there's, I guess, I don't think because Leia acts like he's a stranger.
I don't think Corey and I don't think have a problem with that particular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some folks do just because
a lot of folks do.
Right, because she's not like, oh hey bud, like we went on these adventures together and
yeah, exactly. I said to somebody else, I'm like, fucking shit happens off screen. We're only seeing 2 hours of these people's lives at a time. She could be mourning fucking the scene after like they leave the Death Star, and like we just didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously retconned because it's happening after, and they didn't. But I mean, Darth Vader being Luke's father was also kind of a retcon because the way there was a lot that got retconned as it went.
Yeah,
they kind of made it up as they went along.
Yeah, they
So
wouldn't be
that's
having Luke and Leia hook up if they
were going to be brother
were
and
gonna-
sister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot kind of changed throughout the series and got retconned. So that's not that problematic. I the final episode, I guess I'd also say like the Rock thing. I thought that was super goofy.
See, I didn't find that goofy. I thought that was cool as hell.
I didn't have a problem with that either. I thought it was
That
pretty
bothered
cool.
me like all hell. It was just so goofy. I couldn't understand like. I felt like that moment you were supposed to be like feeling for Obi-Wan and understanding where he was pulling his strength from, and it just kind of I don't know, it didn't hit for me. All the rocks falling up I thought was kind of a goofy moment. It didn't have I think the power that they were hoping it would have, at least for me. And then it did bother me. So the Leia stuff didn't bother me, but it did bother me that Obi-Wan beat Darth Vader. And like I didn't feel like there was a clear reason why he would spare Darth Vader. Because he knows what a terrible person he is, and Anakin has told him that Anakin's dead. All that exists is this evil, horrible person. And I'm okay. Like I get he's got to spare him so that he exists in the later. I wanted the show to give me a reason why he would spare Darth Vader, and I didn't. That wasn't clear to me. I don't know if you guys got something out of it, or if you guys added the story that wasn't there to make it make more sense. But I didn't think it was clear.
Why he would spare Vader?
Yeah, at that point,
doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just because he has to be alive for A New Hope.
I think you're right, but like I think the way that they did it was, for me at least, satisfying. Like he realized, even though it might have been true, might be true, might not be true, whatever, but he realized in his mind that like that was the closure that he needed. You know, his friend was dead, you know, technically in his mind, and he was able to kind of just step away and move on and not be tortured by, you know, everything that happened anymore. That's what I took from it. And it also, for me, it transitioned Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan into Alec Guinness Obi-Wan at the end of that. That was the transition.
I don't know. I just couldn't. That part didn't work for me. It sounds like it worked.
It didn't work for me that he didn't kill him, because didn't he Obi-Wan should have realized like, hey, the last time I didn't make sure he was dead, he ended up coming back and being more powerful and fucking killing everyone. Like maybe I should take this guy, like make sure he's off the board. He doesn't, and planets get blown up because of it. So
I just wish they had given me I'm not upset with the fact that, or I didn't disagree with the fact that he left him alive. I get that's where it had to end. I just wanted him to give me a reason. Give me a character motivation on why he didn't think he should kill Vader. And it just wasn't apparent to me why, when he just... Yeah, it seemed like Vader gave him every reason in the world to kill him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you there.
But the fight was cool. The voice thing was cool.
The voice thing was very cool. The fight was cool. The show did a lot of cool things. I like cool things. I was I guess immune to its faults. It just it ultimately charmed me. I mean, I'm very much I guess like a saga fan of Star Wars, more than I guess Star Wars as a whole. So this kind of like went right into like what I like about Star Wars. So I don't know. They got me. I know it's deeply flawed. That it has plenty of plot holes and character motivations that don't make sense, and you have to suspend all logic for a lot of the stuff that went on in the show. But this was one case where what they did right, I enjoyed a lot, and I was able to overlook the flaws for those things like Obi-Wan and Anakin, the two actors together again, sharing their scenes, the combination of James Earl Jones and Hayden Christensen, really everything. Ewan McGregor, the relationship between Obi-Wan and Leia, I liked a lot. The return of various characters from the prequel trilogy. It was cool seeing them again. So I was ultimately happy with it, even if it definitely went. It didn't end as well as I thought it would based on the beginning of the show. But again, that's a Disney Plus problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just wasn't. I'm not a fan enough of the saga to overlook the flaws, but there's definitely things that I am a fan of where I've overlooked the flaws. Mainly thinking about Spider-Man, where that movie is deeply flawed too, and I was just like, "This is amazing."
Still in awe, yeah.
So no, I definitely get it, but yeah, I just had a lot of problems with the show. I wanted to like it, but I don't know. It's just the writing just wasn't there for me. I thought the effects were good. Seemed like it was shot pretty well for the most part, and the acting was good. So it seems like my problem with a lot of these is the writing. I don't know what's going on with over there. Maybe I need to quit my current job and become a writer over there, or at least just be the guy that's like,
the guy
pointing out plot holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, this show was plagued by similar issues that we talked about with Miss Marvel, that we've talked about with Moon Knight and all the other Disney Plus shows. Maybe not as bad, but definitely it definitely was there in a lot of different ways. And that for me, I think that kind of took a little bit of wind out of my sails midway through.
Do any of you guys want to see a second season of this?
I'm conflicted.
No.
I would be on board for if they explored like Darth Maul, like if he was the villain of season 2, like because there are more stories to be told of like that era of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they would have to do specific things. It can't be just like nonsense.
But didn't they already deal with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan on the Rebels show?
They did, yeah.
So
it would be cool to see it, live action, I guess.
But I don't think that's like something that they would do. Like that would
probably not, but
because it would defeat the purpose. I don't know. I feel like with
I know what you mean.
These things, they want you to watch like they don't want animation to seem lesser than live action. That's what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no.
So I don't think they would. I don't think they would redo like the cool stuff that unless there's other stuff with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan.
Yeah. So
if
that was
I've never seen Rebels, so I can't.
Yeah,
really
either have I.
say.
If that's the case, I really, and I've thought about this since I saw the last episode. Like, I don't know what what adventures, they could have him go on where the villain would be, like, I guess as satisfying as like Darth Vader. They really can't do that again.
Yeah,
like
it's Darth Vader.
It's a weird situation, but it seems like that they have like something in their back pocket just in case fans want it. Like that's kind of like the feeling I got. Or they're just willing to just, put out trash if fans want it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which might be the case too.
My feeling was just that they pushed their luck enough with this one. And I don't want to see some inferior follow-up that probably just tarnishes things just because they can get ratings. If they come up with a great story that makes sense, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think that's their motivation. It's their motivation will just be to do it for money.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a business. So, I don't know if Doug can still hear us, but one last question in regards to MCU and Star Wars television. After these latest shows, are you guys going to be giving She-Hulk and Andor a shot? I believe those are the next in both installments or in both universes.
I'm very, very conflicted. I'm kind of in the same. I think it would be more likely for me to watch Andor than to watch She-Hulk right now, because I just like She-Hulk didn't really do anything for me based on the trailers, and like Miss Marvel did, and I still haven't watched that because I just haven't been motivated to watch it.
Yeah.
I think more so like the Marvel stuff on Disney Plus. I'm just kind of burnt out on. Like I'm just not interested anymore. Um, Andor seems interesting. It seems kind of different, and I like Rogue One. So if that ends up being good, like if the first episode is solid, I'll probably give it a shot.
And Andor looks like it's going to be a 2-season show from what I was reading.
Yeah, I
this
did
past
see
week.
that. That was kind of a shocking thing for me. I thought it was only one, like a limited series.
Yeah, like the first season will take place over the course of a year, and then the second season will take place over the course of 4 years. And
Did they film both
that'll
already?
bring those 5 years will be what leads into Rogue One. I believe they're starting 2 pretty soon. But Doug, what I asked was, are you gonna watch?
I could hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a sucker. I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna complain. I'm gonna talk about how great the first 2 episodes are, and fall into the same trap and just complain about how it didn't stick the landing. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just hopeful that it's gonna correct course. Maybe at some point they'll lose me.
Yeah.
But I'm still interested in seeing like what Endor is about. I'm interested in seeing how She-Hulk is. I know what's her face? Not Tiana.
Tatiana.
Yeah, I mean I know like she's supposed to be great in Orphan Black. Everyone sings her praises, so I'm interested to see how she does in her role. Yeah, I'll watch both. I have more faith in Endor being good than I do She-Hulk, but who the hell knows? They're probably both gonna suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch She-Hulk.
Possible.
I'm so deep into the MCU at this point that it feels like it'd be silly not to watch something. But I do think they'll eventually get to the point where I can't watch every show just because they're churning out too many. And then Andor, I'll let you guys tell me if it's worth watching. But as of now, my plan is that I'm not going to be watching it. All right, let's get on to the movies. Black Phone and Elvis. Corey and I have seen them. Doug has not. So we won't go into spoilers when discussing them, but we'll give our general thoughts on them, things like that. And Doug, you can ask us any questions you have about the films in particular. But The Black Phone, one of the best movies of the year, in my opinion, and probably put it as like my third favorite so far, after the Batman and Top Gun Maverick. I'm not sure which one is 1 and 2, but those would be the 2 at the top. Very much reminiscent of it, but even darker than it. But it really seems to get that time period accurate from all I've been hearing, whether it's from watching movies and stuff that took place in the 70s, or hearing about what it was like for Gen Xers growing up. It seems like they really just nailed how kids grew up then, and didn't really romanticize like that period or anything like that, or make it like a super nostalgic, fucking fun-loving, like everything's perfect type of thing, which was cool. Ethan Hawke, scary bad guy. But the fact that it's dealing with such dark subject matter, it still is like, it's a fun, thrilling type movie throughout. and makes you really care about the characters, really root for them to overcome being kidnapped, and eventually they would be murdered. Not going to say if they do or don't, but that's definitely what the what is the bad guy? What do they call him again? The grabber. That's
Yeah,
definitely what
the
the
grabber.
grabber has in mind. Um, but yeah, I highly recommend this one.
The one thing that threw me off with this movie, and I liked it a lot for it, was it wasn't too scary. It wasn't like a movie where, like, certain audiences could go and see it. If you like thrillers, but you don't like, like really gory or really scary horror movies, like this kind of sits in the middle. And it it really does a good job at keeping that tense nature throughout the film, and while also being funny. Like, it ebbs and flows, like, I think perfectly. Like, you'll have these moments of, tense things that happen, and then there'll be, like, like a moment of like of something that'll be funny, and then it goes back in and, is tense again for a little while longer. And it really it nailed that so perfectly for me.
Yeah, because you're right. It's not gory. Like it's got a couple
No.
scenes that have gore to them. There's some jump scares, but for the most part, it's just like Ethan Hawke being menacing and just like worrying about what he would do to someone, to like a kid.
Hmm.
That's where it's like really the intensity of it all. But yeah, as far as being scary, it's not like too scary or anything like that, or scary by the traditional ways that people tend to talk about being frightened from watching a film.
And I mean, the movie's like shot incredibly well. Like, there's moments, and, Doug, when you see it, I think you'll appreciate it. There's moments in the movie that, uh, for, being as tense as it should be for these moments, like, it's shot in such a specific way that it just really, like, just makes the moment even more tense, and, just drives, like, the whole situation home. So, like, that happened quite a few times in the movie. I think it might have been one of his uh probably most well shot movie that he's done. Derrickson, probably, other than Sinister. And it was shot very similar to Sinister. It has like that same vibe. It's just not. It's not as, like, pedal to the metal like horror as Sinister was.
Yeah, I haven't
But
seen
even, like,
Sinister yet, but I'm
yeah,
gonna. It's definitely on my list.
yeah, you should watch it. I think you'll like it. And then, like, the kids, like, all of them were fantastic. They were fantastically written. The actors were great. Um, I I really had very few complaints about this movie, and I think, like, it also didn't have a lot of like, low points. It just kept going. Like, it wasn't really that long of a film. What, was it, under 2 hours?
Yeah,
So it just kind of, it got going immediately, and it didn't drag at all. It just kept, like, a very steady pace, which was cool.
yeah, and you're right for shouting out the kid actors, especially uh, the kid who plays Finney and his
Yeah,
sister in the movie.
yeah.
Definitely be seeing them in more things
Hmm.
moving forward because I mean the two of them like carried the film. I mean Ethan Hawke's a supporting character, and obviously he's kind of like that. I guess you can say like the Anthony Hopkins Hannibal Lecter like type performance where he just comes in and out of the film, um, and when he does, he steals the show. But he's not like the main focus of the film. It's the kids.
Yeah. And even, like, this, all the supporting characters, most importantly, I think, is, like, their father, Jeremy Davies.
Yeah,
Like, he was fantastic. Like, he played a really, really great and interesting character. Like, he was a broken father, and it just, like, he was great.
Yeah, they didn't go the typical route with him that what I was expecting based on how the movie like began.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Doug, you have anything you want to know about this film before going in to see it?
So one of the things I was wondering was the trailer seemed to show a lot. Did you feel like the trailers gave more away than they should have? Because they show like these ghost kids like keep giving him advice and like I mean there's one scene where they show him get out and he's tiptoeing around like the grabber. Like, did you think that they showed too much of the movie with all that stuff, or do you think
They showed a lot, but they didn't show really anything past the second act.
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Yeah.
Because like I thought the same thing when I saw the trailer. I'm like, wait, so they're really showing him get away? But shit happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you'll still go.
You didn't
in.
think it spoiled too much?
No, they have characters that they didn't even like, pretty big characters that they didn't even show at all in the trailer. And like they show the like a bunch of the dead kids giving advice, but the way they present it is much different than what I was expecting. Like you get a lot of backstory about characters and things like that, which it makes it more interesting than like how it's portrayed in the trailers.
One other call out to the soundtrack. Like the soundtrack was very unique in the way that they used a lot of recognizable songs from that time period.
For sure.
I guess the other question I had is there's just so of course there's a lot of ghost kids that are shown in the trailer. I mean, how does the supernatural element work? Does it work well, or does it feel goofy at all? It looks like kind of goofy in the trailer.
It doesn't necessarily make the most sense. I mean, it's based on a short story, so they're just they're taking things from there. It was something where you just kind of go with it and just accept the fact that there are supernatural things in this world, and try to use it to your advantage in the case of this kid who gets kidnapped.
Yeah, I didn't really find any plot holes because of it. It just was, like Murph said, like you just had to kind of go with, what they were giving you, like the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel goofy.
No.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I can accept ghost kids. I can accept clowns that eat children. I can accept a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, it felt a lot like it, like Murph said earlier. And I think a lot of like the rules and the way things kind of worked out with like the supernatural stuff was kind of like presented in a similar way. So it all worked really well together, like the whole film, I thought.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see this one. If I can see it in theaters, I will. If not,
it should be in theaters. It should be
Yeah.
in theaters for the rest of the summer. I mean, there's really nothing else coming out at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We have Thor, Nope, and Bullet Train. Those are like the only movies left.
I'm definitely going to catch this one more time in theaters.
Such a weak summer.
Yes,
It is.
Yes, it is. Hopefully next summer will be better.
Yeah, but I'm glad that this movie at least was good. Something to look forward to.
Yeah. All right, Elvis. So this is like the third big musical biopic we've gotten in like the last 5 years, after Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man. Where would you rank it in regards to those two, Corey?
Probably my third, number 3. Behind Bohemian Rhapsody, and then Rocket Man was my favorite out of the 3. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. The things that didn't work for me were the Baz Luhrmann like stylistic choices that he kind of shoehorned into the film at certain points. For me, it felt like two different films. Like the first half of the movie felt very different from the second half, which I can understand because different points in his career. But that was kind of jarring for me. But I did overall really like the movie because I really like the performances. More so than I was expecting.
Yeah, it is very much a Baz Luhrmann film, for good and for ill. But like if you take away his flourishes, it's not really his film. So it's either you go with it or you don't. I would put it similar to what you said. I'd put it as like the third best of the three. And then as far as the portrayal of Elvis, I would probably put him like maybe the second of those three actors. Like Austin Butler did a really good job in the role. Very much seemed like Elvis Presley. Interesting story. I didn't know too much about him in comparison to Elton John or Freddie Mercury. So it was cool seeing just how influential he was, why he was as influential as he was, how his career like had so many different arcs and why they had so many different arcs, and Tom Hanks in the film completely against type, real sleazeball, and it was fun to watch him in a different role like that. But yeah, I wouldn't tell anyone to run out and see it, but it's worth watching when it hits video. And I did actually listen to a bunch of Elvis after the fact, so on Apple Music.
Yeah.
So they're getting me in the like Stranger Things is getting people into Kate Bush and Metallica.
The one of the things that like really struck me as pretty amazing, and this is a nod to Buzz Luhrmann and obviously like Austin Butler and the rest of the crew, but like all of the performances that happened in the movie were so well done. And like they were well done because I watched videos after the fact of like the actual videos or shows that they were trying to emulate, that like they painstakingly really tried to emulate the exact version down to like movements and like how the songs were played. I just thought that was like really, really well done. That was probably my favorite part of the film.
Doug, anything you would like to know about this film, or are you just not interested in it?
Did it feel too long? It's clocking at like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it felt very long, very long.
It probably could have been a little shorter. I didn't really feel the length, but it definitely could have been shorter.
Like 20 minutes shorter? Or...
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's like 220 instead of 240.
Oh wow, it was 240. Yeah, I didn't feel 240.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was 220. Yeah, I would say it can go down to 220. 20 minutes. I would cut.
And they definitely could have cut like some scenes.
Nothing's. I would cut it like sporadically throughout the movie. Like there was no section where I was like, "This is boring me." You probably get rid of some montages or stuff like that.
There were quite a few.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man, I forgot it was that long. It didn't feel like it close to for me. I didn't feel like it was close to 3 hours.
Well, that's good. How was Tom Hanks?
He's fun. He's fun playing a bad guy. I mean, his fucking accent's ridiculous. I didn't realize who he was sounding like until they mentioned the fact that he's from Holland. And I'm like, oh my god, it's Goldmember. He's doing that fucking Dutch accent that Mike Myers was doing.
Yeah.
In Austin Powers. So then I was kind of like laughing once I realized that. But I enjoyed him. Like I said, it was fun watching him against type.
Yeah, and he had good chemistry with Austin Butler. Like they played very well together.
I kept being like, oh man, stop listening to this guy. Like
I
you're
know.
almost out. Like fucking like, just have a little more willpower, and
I know.
your life will be better. Maybe you
So
won't die when you're like in your 40s.
Yeah.
He's basically Dutch from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
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 He's got a plan, and you just keep going.
Yeah,
he
I
just
got a
keeps
plan.
going- he just keeps going with it, even when he realizes just like plans fucking like not. It's just he's fucking him over. He just keeps going.
Yeah, the way that they were like his manipulation kind of evolves throughout the film is pretty interesting. Like you know that he's like kind of like a sleazeball, but as the movie goes on, like it gets, worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize the reason why he did a lot of his things until like
Yeah.
you find out like towards the end of the movie, like in the last half an hour.
Mhm.
So I think they did a pretty good job with that. The fact that I like all my guesses during the movie were wrong. But yeah, I mean, if you want to see it it's pretty good to see on a big screen. If you can still see it on a big screen, like a real big screen with good sound, see it. Otherwise, you can wait. That's what
it was fun in Dolby. That's what we saw it in, right? Like the Dolby theater.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Let's
Seems
get
like Black Phone is the one you guys would recommend over the two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And definitely over Lightyear.
Yeah, well, that movie's still like, ugh.
Let's segue into the box office because
That's what I was just thinking about, how bad it performed it.
You had told me that Lightyear would make less than $7 million on its third weekend. I would have thought you were out of your fucking mind.
It's insane.
That is, its performance is beyond terrible.
No legs at all. Like
it is dropping
the opposite of legs. It's got like fucking concrete boots on.
Yeah.
It dropped just as much on its third weekend as it did on its second weekend. Like you're at least supposed to fucking like retain something on weekend 3, but it dropped another 60-something%.
It was a holiday weekend too.
On a holiday weekend. It's mind blowing how bad it's done.
I can't believe I picked that movie.
It's not your fault. It shouldn't have done this
crazy.
bad. I mean,
maybe
I guess we were all fucking like too high on this because clearly nobody else in the world was.
Yeah, I
think it's gangbusters.
I think it's a marketing problem.
I
just think no one knows what the hell this movie is.
Yeah,
I think you're correct.
And Disney's got an animation problem going back for a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
With Raya and the Last Dragon, all their animated films have underperformed. They put them all on Disney Plus so quickly, which probably deters people from going to see them in theaters. The MCU is fine because that has a rush factor. You like got to go see the MCU movies to see what happens. But with like their animated stuff, you can wait. Like you wait 5 weeks, 6 weeks, however long it is. They've conditioned their ticket buyers to not buy tickets. And now I'm worried about what the fuck's going to happen in the future of like Pixar movies. They fucking renewed Bob Chapek's contract for like 3 years or some shit when every decision he makes seems to be the fucking stupidest decision in the world. He's like the Roger Goodell of fucking movie studio owners. I fucking hate him. Or CEOs. I'm never gonna be able to work at Disney because they're gonna if they find my podcast. I think gonna hear me talking negatively about the CEO.
We don't talk positive about them very often, but
yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of issues with him under him. With I mean, we were just talking about how the TV shows are a disaster right now. I know that I've heard like Feige doesn't have anywhere near the control he used to have over the MCU and all that because of JPEG. But you've got 3. I think everything I was reading was like they were always going to give him 3 more years. and then it's after those 3 more years. They'll see where he is, but that's not a bad gig. I can fuck up for 3
Yeah,
years and
I
get 3
can-
more years.
Exactly.
Get paid millions of dollars.
Like, obviously, fucking numbers are going to recover from COVID. Like, they're acting like, oh, wow, his numbers improved so much since 2020. No shit, they improved since 2020. The world was shut down. And fucking Michael and Eisner was fucking doing so much during that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Since he didn't really fully step down. So I feel like this guy's getting credit for, like, not Eisner.
You're talking about
I'm talking about
CEO.
what the fuck's his name?
I don't know why I'm struggling with it. Disney CEO. I'm annoyed because like I liked what he did with the company. Robert Iger.
Iger.
Like, I don't know. I feel like he's getting credit for things that he shouldn't be getting credit for, and all he does publicly is just make fucking mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't particularly like where he's taken the company, but
I guess they're making money, so.
yeah, it is.
Oh,
Is
do you
what
see?
it is for the
You
time
see that they are selling a $5,000 Star Wars drink at that ghastly fucking hotel of theirs?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I didn't look into the drink, but
the
I
Kyber
saw
drink.
it.
The fucking gall of them to sell a drink for that much money when the world is where it's at right now is sickening. How tone deaf this company has become.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they've been moving in this direction for a long time. I'm not going to pretend like they haven't, but they have gone so far from Walt Disney and like his ethos for this company. It's insane.
People are going to pay it too.
People aren't going to be able to afford to bring their families to Disney World in the future with how
It's
much
already gotten pretty
It's already
crazy.
gotten to that point.
it is so goddamn expensive. And now we're going into completely different. I'm going into a completely different tangent from what we're supposed to be talking about.
Murph's war on Disney.
But man, oh man, it's all related.
Could be.
Lightyear bomb. It's just an embarrassing situation.
You want to know what didn't bomb though?
What?
The Minions.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's my ace in the hole.
Set what 4th of July record.
And people fucking scrape the bottom of the barrel for those Minions. Like, I thought people were gonna be tired of them, but they are not
people love
tired
that
of
shit.
them.
They fucking love it.
Absence made the heart grow fucking fonder.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean that was a good one to delay too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it was
one was
delayed
supposed to
a
come
year.
out 2 years. It was supposed to come out July 2020.
Oh my god.
Every fucking studio that put out a movie on streaming, like a big fucking movie, or like that released it like way back in the day, have to be so pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers are probably furious at Christopher Nolan for him fucking making them basically release the movie, only to fucking leave the company. And
But no one forced them to be like, we're gonna put all of our movies on HBO Max.
no, they didn't. They did not.
True.
But like they gave in to Christopher Nolan's demands and lost anyway.
Yeah, but then they like
would have, and then they lost him for Oppenheimer.
But then they like, what, 10 movie down
Yes,
on that? And they're just like, we're going to put everything out?
In their defense, almost all of them looked like shit. Like, the only ones that probably...
Kong would have made a ton of money, I think. Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, probably would have made some more money. It's still getting a sequel. Like, it did well. It was one of the biggest pandemic movies. Dune probably would have made some more money. But, like... And Matrix made some more. I think
Suicide Squad probably would have done better too.
Yep.
Yeah, that probably would have.
A lot of people like I never went and saw it in theaters. I watched it on HBO Max.
Yeah, but like
I would have gone to theaters to see that.
Cry Macho, Reminiscence.
Yeah, those two.
The one with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
A lot of them were still not going to make
King
money.
Richard, though, they could have put
Little
out.
Things. Judas and the Black Messiah was going to be limited in what it made. King Richard probably would have been limited as well. So
Well,
like,
King Richard could have done well though. I think it could have gone from a limited to a full.
yeah. So yes, you're right. They decided to blow up fucking their entire theatrical business for a whole year. They should have waited on Wonder Woman. That was a fucking mistake. As
Well,
shitty as the movie was, it would have made a ton of money.
Oh, yeah, it would have made a bunch of money.
I forgot about that movie.
It would
God,
have
that movie
easily,
was so bad.
it easily
really
would have made
was.
over $100 million its opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Would it have cratered after the fact? To a
Yeah, word
degree.
of mouth would have sank
Yes.
it. I think a decent amount, but yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
still
would
would
have
have made
probably
a ton of
dropped
money.
within a week.
I also think it wouldn't have had as negative word of mouth if it was in theaters because people that like wanted to shit on the movie wouldn't have been seeing it, so they wouldn't have been giving their input on Twitter within 15 minutes of like the movie being on HBO Max and like live streaming how much they fucking hate it. So
It was a really bad movie though.
it was a terrible movie. It was a bad movie. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible movie, but it was a bad movie.
I would say it was a terrible movie.
Maybe it was a terrible movie.
It was really, really bad.
I think I gave it 2.5 on Letterboxd.
I
You
Maybe,
need
I
to
don't even
lower
think I would
that.
get-
2.5
I don't
is
even-
way generous. Way too
maybe
generous.
maybe I gave it a 2.
I don't even think I would give it a 2. I think I would give it like 1.5.
I was thinking 1 in my head right now, but
Damn. All right, let me check and see what we rated it because we probably all rated it.
But yeah, you got to rewatch that one for sure.
Pedro Pascal was like the only redeeming quality of the film.
None of you rated it, but yeah, the highest I'm seeing from anyone I follow is 3 stars. So
3 stars. Wow.
and the lowest, a half a star. Half a star. This fucking sucked.
Sounds about right.
Nice.
I mean, they're not wrong. I guess going back to the Minions, though, did you guys see the part of the reason why Minions did so well?
Well, people dressing up in suits and bringing bananas to theaters.
I didn't hear about the bananas, but yeah, the Gentle Minions
Yes,
trend for TikTok,
I heard of it.
where teenagers decided to dress up in suits and go on TikTok and go see Minions for some reason.
I don't understand. I don't understand Gen Z trends. I also saw a bunch of people sneaking a garbage cans worth of bananas into the movie.
Bananas.
I don't know. They look like minions, maybe. Minions like bananas. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm sure studio can't be too unhappy. I mean, this is like what you want to happen, right?
Yeah.
You want there to be some stupid ass trend that's going to drive people to see your movie.
They're definitely delated by this.
I don't understand.
They did a great job
understand,
marketing the movie.
Yeah, the movie was everywhere. Like,
I just thought people were going to be tired of it by now.
mm,
That it didn't matter how much they put it in people's faces; they just wouldn't care. But I was very wrong. And that was only something I started thinking recently. Like when we did our draft, and I would have picked it before Top Gun. Where you picked it was exactly where I would have picked it, Corey. So it was like, I don't know. As we got closer, I'm like, I just got a feeling people are gonna be tired of it. And it was one of those times where I was very, very wrong.
yeah.
Well, and you also got like all these kids are out from school, so they have like the free time to dress up in a suit and go see the Minions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just looks like people. It says most of them involve groups of friends donning a formal attire, flooding the theater, and chanting "I count money, I count money" as the song "Rich Minion" by Yeet plays.
Oh God, the world's so fucking weird.
I don't even know I don't even know what that means.
You could be making up words right now, and I wouldn't know.
I really have no clue what that means
That-
at all.
That was so similar to the last episode of The Boys, or 2 episodes ago, where they're talking to Soldier Boy, and they're talking about different things like Wi-Fi,
Bluetooth, internet.
Bluetooth, and internet, and Soldier Boy's like, "You just made up those words, didn't you?" But yeah, the movie made 123 mil. over the holiday weekend.
Hell
Biggest opening for a Despicable Me Minion movie. So good job with that pick, Corey. I think it's gonna have legs because all the reports about it have been positive. It had a very strong cinema score. So yeah, it's gonna make over 300 mil for sure in America. So yeah, as for our standings,
We don't have to read these off still, do we? Like it's Murph,
over.
everybody else.
I'm at $1 billion. Doug's at around 500 million. Corey's about 250 million. So yeah, there's a big difference between the three of us at this time. Doug, you have Thor coming out this weekend. That's going to be huge. It's projected to make like 140, 160 million. This
Feels like
weekend.
it's gonna be another one that's just gonna like free fall on me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think this will do better than Doctor Strange, just only because it's Thor.
I'm not convinced.
People
of
love
that.
Thor.
I'm not convinced. The Rotten Tomatoes is currently sitting. Okay, it's back to 70. It was at 69, but that's not a great score.
no, it's a bad score. It's nearly the worst score in the MCU.
Where are the
Which is still, I think, probably going to be wrong, but
where's Thor 1
For
and
sure.
2? How low did those go?
High 70s for Thor, mid 60s for Thor 2,
Oh wow, so it's not far off.
low 90s for Ragnarok.
Wow.
It's exactly what the reviews are exactly what we thought it was. It's a retreat of Ragnarok. They're going all in on Taika's like sensibilities.
yeah, and so it's going more Taika than Ragnarok did. Ragnarok was Taika restrained somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, now you're gonna get like people are gonna be either really into that and want a funny Taika movie, or they're not. And I think that's what we're seeing. It seems to be pretty polarizing.
See, I think I'm gonna be a person that's gonna really like it.
Yeah, I
like
think
his
you'll
stuff.
definitely like it, Corey. I'm not sure where I'm gonna fall.
I think I'll like it, but I don't know how much I will.
Yeah. So, but it's definitely one I want to see in theaters because I think if the audience is into it, I'll like it more.
I think, I think Corey, you like more than Doug when a director goes all in on their sensibilities in an MCU film. Like Doug didn't like the full Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he'll like the full Taika.
Mm-hmm.
While you, on the other hand, loved him going all in on his quirks, Raimi's quirks, and likely will for Taika as well.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's gonna
maybe
be
won't.
quirky.
I don't know. I love Jojo Rabbit. I love the hunting of the
The Wilder People.
yeah.
It's a great movie.
It's like I love Taika's brand of humor, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
What We Do in the Shadows, like, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the only other thing I guess to note is Top Gun's still fucking killing it. This is fucking insane. Every goddamn weekend, it's like the second biggest whatever weekend of all time. It's always right in the middle of Avatar and Titanic for the second biggest fifth weekend, the second biggest sixth weekend. It's mind-boggling how little it drops.
Yeah, it's super crazy. I'm not really sure how or why.
I think this weekend will probably be its second biggest drop of any weekend so far, just because it's like coming off a holiday weekend and Thor is pretty massive competition. But again, it wouldn't shock me if it only drops like 30%, because I mean older people don't give a fuck about Thor. So if they haven't seen it yet, they'll probably go see Top Gun.
Yeah, I mean Elvis would have been their biggest competition with like that older crowd. But
yeah, and then they had that neck and neck for number one, which Elvis did win, which was very exciting to watch last weekend.
And what week of that was Top Gun in?
Top
Where
Gun
they
was
went neck to neck.
At that point, Top Gun was in its fifth weekend.
Yeah.
That's
And then,
so crazy.
but then the following weekend, Top Gun made 10 million more than Elvis. So like, it's fucking crazy.
Well, Top Gun Mavericks climbing that top. If you look top lifetime grosses on Box Office Mojo, it's at 12 right now. It's right below Incredibles
Incredibles 2,
2.
right? How high can it go? Where are you thinking, Doug?
How close is everything else like
It
above
starts to get really close once they hit 600.
Okay.
Until you get like, Endgame and Force Awakens are kind of.
I could see it in like the top, maybe like definitely the top 10.
The
I don't
top,
know about
the top 4 are all in their own league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
To varying different leagues.
I could see it taking spot. I could see it breaking top 10, maybe number 9.
I could see it going highest 6, most likely 7 or 8.
I think it's going to depend on if it goes back into IMAX somehow, like, more of a wide, for like wide audiences, like across the country. If it does that, then I think it'll make a ton more money.
I mean, they're not going to pull it out of theaters anytime soon, so that's what's going to work.
It'll be there until September, probably.
It's not going to be on Paramount Plus till the end of September.
What did it make last weekend?
32 over the holiday.
That's just crazy.
It's still pulling in like 5 million a day on weekdays, like 4 or 5 million a day.
So maybe it could overtake Titanic. That'd be interesting.
If it continues like in this trend for the most part and doesn't drop that much, I think it definitely could.
I think they'll want it to top Titanic because that's another Paramount movie, and then now they can say Top Gun's the biggest Paramount movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can do things to help that, like Corey said, try to push it back into IMAX.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't started to do that yet. Like, pull some strings and get it into, more IMAX theaters, even if it's like not, Friday nights, it's during the week in the afternoons or something like that. Like have a couple showings here and there every day.
well they did.
People are going to go.
Not this past week, but the previous week. I guess because like Lightyear, Jurassic World, and Top Gun were all in IMAX at the same time. Likely because Lightyear bombed. But Minions did so well that like they're not going to be taking screens from it. They're not going to give any screens to it when Thor comes out. So like maybe in August they'll get some screens back. But yeah, it's crazy. Well, we'll see how high it goes. We'll talk about it more this summer. But let's get into our feature presentation, which is Stranger Things 4, Volume 2. So we have now seen the final 2 episodes of the season. We can judge the season now better, both what we've seen in Volume 1 and now as a whole. What did you guys like out of the last 2 episodes that we got, which were almost 4 hours? So it was basically the equivalent of a 4-hour half season of a normal season of Stranger Things.
I mean, I really liked how they tied up a lot of the loose ends from this season, stuff that they created this season, stuff that was kind of lingering from other seasons. They really did a nice job with tying up a lot of those storylines before moving on to the finale. So that's like the first thing that I really, really enjoyed. How about you, Doug?
Oh, I think I liked Vecna as a character throughout. I I just thought it was nice, and I guess this is more for the overall season, but I thought it was nice to have a character that was more sentient than some of the other characters, the other monsters that we've dealt with in prior seasons. I thought the character design of him was cool. The way that he, like the voice, like the way that his powers function, like the way he kills people. I think is kind of a cool, gruesome way to kill people. It was shocking when he first did it to the cheerleader. I think the show did a great job with Eddie. Overall, I thought Eddie was like more likable than I think he should have been as a character. He wound up being a really likable character, and he was really. I think he was one of the better characters they've created. So it was unfortunate where they went with him.
Yeah.
But that, like we've said in the past, that cast is overstuffed.
I think his overall arc was satisfying enough that it warranted, what happened to him. Like, it was definitely like, this character's gone, okay, but like his arc was really, really satisfying. Probably, I think, one of the most satisfying arcs that we've had so far.
Yeah,
in the show.
I don't know if I agree with that, but we could talk about it. And then I guess I would just say, like, the action set pieces were, they had a lot of money, and you could see it in these last couple of episodes with some of the action set pieces. The helicopter was, I thought, really well done, and I thought a lot of the action scenes looked really great, and their sets looked really great. So I guess I would say the action, and then the music was fun. I guess those were things that stand out to me as positives.
I liked that they are finally together again, everyone, for the final season. Wish they could have had more time together in the end of the season, like more time together at the end of Stranger Things 4, but I'm happy they're finally together for 5.
Teasing it.
I liked that it did have some different combinations, like even though they weren't like located central, like all in the same location, 11 was still dealing with like having character interactions with Max, that 11 was back with Mike and all of them. So she'd been on her own for the majority of the season. I guess half of volume 1. I like that Brenner is off the board again. I don't think we need any more of Papa. I'm glad Vecna's still around for the next one, that they're not going to be setting up a new bigger bad for the final season. I think that was a smart decision, that they finally have their big bad set in this penultimate season. We'll see just how much he's been pulling the strings, I imagine, more in Stranger Things 5. And then I'd say some of the performances were some of the best we've gotten from the show so far. I thought Caleb, who plays Lucas, gave his best performance the show has seen in the finale. Really, the last 2 episodes, him and Sadie Sink, who plays Max, both did terrific work together. Sadie Sink just continued her breakout season of the show. I mean, she was great in both season 2 and 3, but I think she really became one of those 100% essential characters this season, despite the fact that she's been around for a while. Trying to think of who else stood out performance-wise. Oh yeah, like you said, Joseph Quinn's performance as Eddie.
Yeah,
he had a strong ending. Like you said, his first scene in the show, I was like, this guy's kind of irritating, but even by the end of the first episode or by the end of the second episode, I liked him. But I really liked him a lot by the end of the show. His whole arc was done very well, I thought.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of credit to the actor because he was written well too, but I think he could have easily been annoying as a character.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess what I liked the most, Steve Harrington's still alive. He's back. Stranger Things 5. Didn't die. Anyone? Go back to the previous episode. Listen to everything that we had to say.
It felt like I don't know if they could. They couldn't have, probably.
They couldn't have.
But it felt like they just they knew everyone was going to be like, Steve's going to die. And they were like, let's give you this scene where he talks about his future and how he wants to have 6 kids and how he loves Nancy. Yeah. And they were just like, I mean, you had to.
Once that happened, I was like, God damn, he's dead.
Yeah, once that happened, I was like, I knew it. Steve's done. That's the kiss of death.
Yeah, he's done.
They definitely know all the tropes, and they subverted our expectations with that.
I was glad that it wasn't that predictable. Where it was actually, I thought, interesting that they kept him alive because if you're expecting it, it's not as fun as if. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was surprised to find that Steve was still living at the end of the season. I waited till the credits rolled, and then it completely blanked out to make sure there was no after credits where Steve just gets killed. And I was like, all right, Steve survived.
But on the flip side, they need to kill their characters.
I don't know if they're going to.
They cannot be they have to kill somebody of importance.
Yeah.
Because they have not had the balls to do it in 4 seasons of the show so far. They always just killed people that A, are bad guys, or B, are new characters. I guess Billy was the longest character.
Yeah.
He made it through 2 seasons before dying.
Yeah.
Like Brenner, they fucking brought back from the dead just to kill him again. And he only had half a season.
I wonder if this is, I mean, I don't know, but I could be spitballing this, but I wonder if it's kind of part of the plan where they wanted to keep the core kids alive until the final season. And then, they're going to end up inevitably killing someone or multiple people and, just waiting until that final season. I don't know. It's either that or they were scared to kill off their characters because they just love them so much.
Right. And yes, I don't think they're necessarily scared of killing it. I think they love their characters too much.
Kate, this is Hawkins, not Westeros.
It's true, but I mean, if we're watching a show that's supposed to be like a thriller where every season is leveling up on gore and things like that,
right?
Yeah, you have to have some stakes and consequences.
Mm-hmm. I think Will convinced me that it was a good idea to bring Hopper back.
I agree.
He was a nothing this season. The Russia storyline, don't even get me started. There was no payoff there.
No, there really wasn't.
Murph, you were like, well, I think it's all gonna come together, and it was the most shoehorned.
Instead, they decided to go break back into the prison.
Yeah. How many times did we leave and go back into that stupid prison? Yeah, I laughed out loud when they said they had to go back into the break back into the prison, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, they
didn't know what to do with them.
They had nothing to do with
and the whole hive mind, we need to attack the monsters thing. I was like, this doesn't work for me. They were just this just feels like they had these characters in Russia, and they were like, how do we make them matter?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think they didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, that was they should have just cut that.
Unless the USSR and the USA team up in Stranger Things 5 because of what happened in the Russia plotline, there ain't no fucking reason why that plotline should have happened at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it will be a Rocky IV scenario where.
Yeah, I was gonna text you that actually earlier this week.
Russia and the United States come together.
I was like, it's somewhat different. So, but yeah, it was a dud of a storyline.
I mean, it paid off for me in some ways with, getting Hopper and 11 like back together. Like that whole thing was satisfying, but it definitely didn't redeem that entire arc. Like I sat there and I was just like, what was this? What was the point?
Yeah, like it was nice. Yeah, definitely, it was nice seeing them reunited. But it didn't ultimately add anything to the story yet.
And are we going to see like the pilot Yuri and the Jack and Naharis? Like, are they like regulars now?
The next time we see Yuri would be way too soon. I never want to see that character ever.
He was such a bad character. Speaking of new characters that were bad, he was
worst
horrible.
character ever on Stranger Things.
You know who he looked
by
like?
far.
He looked like
a fucking cartoon character brought to life.
In the
he
Prestige,
acted like a cartoon
in the
character.
Prestige, when Hugh Jackman, like when he's acting as like his like dim-witted double, that's what he looked like. I forgot his name, the character's name, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be in 5. Let's hope the one character's not. But yeah, terrible character. And I really like the season as a whole. Like I hate when I'm always ripping on these things, but they are faults that you need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what happened with what's his face? Paul Reiser. Is he alive?
It's a good question.
Is he
I
still
guess.
Seems like he is.
Is he still handcuffed? Is he a prisoner now of those military guys? Like I need to find out what happens to this character.
I mean, I assume he's alive.
He's a good character. He's a nice guy.
I thought he was going to show up with a plane. Like when they were trying to figure out how to get back to Hawkins and they decided to use the pizza freezer. I thought he was gonna pop up with his plane that he was talking about a couple scenes before. Like somehow he got out of the handcuffs and escaped.
I mean, how obvious was it when he wanted him to leave? He was like, 11, you can leave. I'll be right. Pack your bags. We'll be right back or whatever. How fucking obvious was it that wasn't gonna happen?
Brennan was like, "How dare you?"
Yeah. I'm glad Brenner didn't get redemption either.
Yeah, I agree. He sucks.
She didn't forgive her. 11 didn't forgive him. That was it would have been an easy decision to have the character say "I forgive you" or something like that, and they didn't go that route. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think that was a good choice. Speaking of new characters, I still never got on the Argyle train.
Oh, I love Argyle so much.
I still don't get him as a character.
I'm cool with Argyle.
He makes Jonathan so much better.
Yeah, he does. Jonathan's a wet blanket, but when he's with Argyle, he's at least a little bit of fun.
I will say that he had some pretty great scenes in the finale. Most importantly, that scene with Will. I enjoyed that one. Jonathan, yeah. That was a great scene.
Yeah, that was
where
both
he's comforting his brother.
Both their standout scenes of the season.
That played a little goofy. The Will Mike conversation played a little goofy to me.
Oh, the one in the car?
Fucking Mike is Mike's in his own fucking world, doesn't understand anything.
He's a goddamn idiot.
Which is fine, like
so oblivious.
But like
Will's crying
crying into his hand next to him, and Mike's just like, "Thanks, man. Appreciate the advice." I was like, that's a little too like. They could have just had Will look sad or something, like crying into his hand, and Mike just being like, "Thanks, man. Talk to you later."
Yeah, like,
even Jonathan noticed that he was crying. He was fucking driving.
Yeah, fuck it. Mike's has turned into like not a great character.
Mike cares about 11, and that's all he cares about.
Yeah, 11 and himself. That's
it.
Exactly.
Mostly himself.
And I
think he was kind of shitty to 11 for
but Mike's the
first
heart
half of the season. Yeah, Mike's the heart. Mike's the heart. He's barely had anything to do for the past 2 seasons.
That was a great scene. That monologue.
Fucking Dustin's the heart. Like everyone knows Dustin's the heart of the show.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that they had Mike as the heart.
Yeah, Mike's the heart because fucking Will fucking
character.
loves Mike. That's why Mike. That's why he's the heart.
Yeah.
He's not the heart for anything else.
I also kind of feel like they're stringing out the Will thing a little, like it's like too strung out. Where I'm still seeing a lot of people that are like don't really know what's going on with Will. Like it's like a little too subtle.
I mean, I think he's being set up as like, you know, kind of like the physical big bad. I think he's gonna die in that way somehow.
I hope they give Will like something better to do this next. I mean, he was tied to the. They didn't seem to indicate he had like the neck thing again. Maybe he's like got some bigger role.
The Moby King is just going to continue to be miserable and do nothing. He's going to have his terrible fucking haircut, and they're going to wait. The actor is just going to have to like waste his fucking time on that set because they give him nothing to do.
I hope not. I hope that's not the case because he is a good actor.
He has to have some importance, though. There's a reason why the time stopped in the upside down the moment he got taken. Mm-hmm. He is going to be significant.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think you're right too, and I think there's something that's going to happen with him, and it's going to play into the overall story. So
clearly, him and Vecna have some sort of a connection.
Yeah.
So,
I did see an interview.
He's going to be mopey. That's guaranteed.
Do they get rid of the haircut for season 5?
No, it takes place right after. You can't get rid of the haircut. He's stuck. I
thought we were getting a time jump.
No time jump. You can't jump. You can't time jump when the whole fucking Hawkins is opened up.
I know,
you gotta go.
I want to know
how the fuck are they going to do this? How are they going to do?
I'm not. Yeah, so I'm not really sure how they're going to do, like, with how crazy shit has happened in Hawkins now at the end of this season. Like, how is the military not in? Like, how is it just like these kids like it seems like the stakes have gotten like too high at this point where like the fucking upside down is like leaked into the real world. Like it seems like
it's turning into what the show like looked like it would be at the end of season 2. When it showed like the school all fucked up after their like dance scene. Like that's what's gonna be Hawkins. Mm-hmm. All weird snowy type stuff and red everywhere. Red and blue shades.
Ghoulish.
Yeah.
All the ghouls are gonna be around.
Ghouls are gonna be everywhere. I'm sure there'll be some new ghouls. It'll be exciting to see.
But yeah,
does Barb come back? It's a question.
Nah, Barb's old news at this point.
They had a chance to bring her back, and they punted on it.
During
that Nancy scene.
They bumped it on it. Yep, they did.
That was kind of a interesting end to that jock where he just like dies pretty quickly.
They fucking chopped you in half. You piece of shit.
The fissure that opens up and just like runs right through him and cuts him in half.
Dude was fucking crazy, so I mean, it's a fair ending for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys think that Max was dead when?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna actually have balls and kill a character.
Yeah, I thought she was dead.
Yeah, I mean they made it seem like you were like, oh shit, they got her, like it's over.
Yeah,
and they're like, nope.
But she like
no.
They confirmed like she's blind, she's brain dead, she's this like.
They'll bring her back.
What is she gonna be, a battery? Like what?
I'm guessing Vecna has her mind, and they're gonna have to like save her mind and bring it back to her, and then 11 will just heal her up.
Oh my god, that was brutal.
11 just keeps getting new powers. Corey, you were right about some of the actors looking older because I read the Duffers said like some scenes they'll be like fuck it in a house and then they'll go outside and what they shot outside was like shot a year and a half later. So
okay,
there were actors that definitely looked older. than they did in other scenes.
I'm glad I was not like fucking taking crazy pills,
No.
because there was a point where I rewound it. Like, I'm like, this is insane how much older they look right now. There's no way that this was filmed like at the same time.
Yeah, it was just the season took so long to film. Like, it didn't even have to do with like them starting before COVID and then resuming after. It was just once they started filming after COVID started, it was just a really fucking long shoot.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, they shot for what, like over a year?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you're not jumping. They're not doing a time jump, so they're gonna look even older in this next season.
I don't know. I don't understand how they're gonna do that,
despite the fact that it's only taken place over like not even 3 years so far. It's only been 2.5 years since season 1. Started.
I can fine with that. That doesn't bother me.
It went from it was November of '83. We're now in March of '86, I believe.
Yeah. See, I thought there was going to be at least like a year, like time jump, but I guess it makes sense with how it ended, that there wouldn't be.
Yeah, and they said like the next season they won't have to do like a couple episodes devoting to like where the characters are at in their lives and setting up their arcs for the seasons. They said the next season is basically part 2 of like this season.
Right.
So should be. They're not. They said. I think they said they're not going to go like 100 miles per hour out of the gate, but it's going to be pretty fucking fast out of the gate.
Hopefully we'll get it in not 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine 2 years. We'll get it. I think we'll get it in summer of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
What are your expectations for the final season? Anything that you really want to see? Things like that.
I don't want to see Russia. I would like it, and it's going to be a Vecna versus 11 again. I don't know that I want to see that. Unless they do it in like a really crazy, but if it's just like this,
yeah,
I don't know. That's not.
I mean,
really like
it also wasn't done they weren't in like a physical state, so it was done, in whoever's mind or in their minds, whatever. It was a mind battle.
Yeah.
I mean, I want all the characters together, but I don't know how the hell they're going to do that. How many freaking characters they have at this point.
Well, and they did say the whole season will be set in Hawkins, so you don't have to worry about Russia.
That's good.
They will not all be together at all times. Like they'll be spread out, like they've done in the past, doing their own individual like groups of stories. But it will all be in Hawkins, and I imagine more time in the final arc of the show. Everyone will be together. Similar to like when they're all in Starcourt Mall and things like that in the past of the show.
I love the Hopper character, but like I think we've talked about this before. I think the adults have kind of outlived their usefulness.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. I don't know that I want them anymore, especially like Winona Ryder. Like I don't need her. I mean, maybe if they're going to do something with Will, she can scream about it again.
That's going to be her purpose. It's going to be dealing with Will's, whatever the fuck happens with Will.
Yeah, that she'll just go back to that role again. Hopper can be worried about 11, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, I really hope we get more Dustin and Steve Harrington. Like we didn't get that much of that.
Yeah, now that
his new boo Eddie is gone.
Yeah, now that Eddie's gone, he's gonna have to go back to Steve.
Everyone's going back to their old boo. Nancy's turn back to Jonathan was like kind of just like whiplash.
Yeah, that was.
It was like peace, Steve.
No, I'm not buying it. I'm seeing that it's like you've returned. Like things are gonna go. Like I'm gonna play the girlfriend part, but we're probably gonna break up in like a week.
I'm gonna have 6 of Steve's babies.
Exactly. That was what was it? It's like 2 days later. Give it another 5 days, they're gonna be broken up.
Yeah,
She was
6
already
babies, the RV, whatever
she
the
was
hell he was talking
already
about.
defending Steve when Jonathan tried to put him down. It's just my boyfriend's returned. I'll be the good girlfriend for now, but we're gonna be broken up soon. That's what happened.
I mean, I think the core group, like Corey said, needs to be back together.
The 4 of them,
like, yeah,
or the 5 of them with 11.
Yeah, they need to be back together in like they've got to do that. They're gonna do that to bookend it, I would guess. But
they're all gonna have their weapons and they're gonna fight Vecna like Dungeons and Dragons, like in the painting. Marky
It'll
here
be like,
now.
Or like that's kind of reminds me of. I mean, this season's kind of reminded me a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Where they all work together, the kids all work together to take it down, and this ending kind of reminded me of it, where like the clown gets away at the end. Even though it got the shit beat out of it, it kind of reminded me of that. I wonder how you make Vecna a threat now that they've already like almost taken him down once.
I mean, I assume he's gonna like level up in some way. I'm sure he's not gonna be, the same version that we saw. It'll be like Super Shredder.
He's just gonna be super jacked.
Which he might be.
Vanilla Ice will come out first, do a song, and then he'll come in all jacked up.
Overall, though, he was a fucking awesome villain. Like, he was written really well. I actually didn't know they had that in them, to be honest.
Yeah, the show's gonna have to end part of that final battle. It's gonna have to be the 4 of them, like in a physical battle with some sort of creature, like a live action Dungeons and Dragons scene of the 4 of them. The teens are gonna end up having to be back together, that triangle plus Robin, and then the adults will be together doing their thing. It'll be very much similar to season 1. I imagine the dynamics and stuff. I think they've even mentioned that they want to get back to
get back
those original dynamics.
Yeah, I think that should be the goal, is get back to that and give it like a nice little bookend that, characters went on their separate ways and had their own journeys, but eventually they all came back together, and that was the way they defeated the big bad. I think would be a nice little way to bookend it. I would guess inspiration-wise, it's probably going to be pretty similar to this past season. I don't know what else they could be pulling from.
I mean, I guess Rocky 4 would be the most logical, based on what we've talked about. But I've heard people talk about what is the one? Red Dawn, potentially like something like those like types of kid war movies. Like that being a potential thing. I don't know what it could be. Could be it.
I also hope that they continue the structure. The same way, like have it broken up into 2 parts.
Yes, they definitely should do that. That was one of the best things that they did this season.
And make it like a summer event. Honestly, like fucking break it up into 3 parts. Like make the episodes same amount of episodes, but make them maybe a little bit longer each episode, and then have it broken up into 3 parts. I think that would be amazing. Then you have it like literally throughout the entire summer.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna do it. I think we'll probably. I would guess it's gonna be the 2 parts. But I mean, I thought it built a lot of hype from the years prior. I thought that this is what seemed like one of the more hyped up seasons. It felt like there was a lot of anticipation leading up to Volume 2. I think people had plenty of time to catch up and didn't feel like they had to even the people that don't binge it all in the first weekend had time to catch up, and everyone was ready. And it seemed like a lot of people were watched Volume 2 like right around when it dropped.
Yeah,
I think
broke
dropping it on a
Netflix.
holiday weekend was probably smart too, because a lot of people were home. And I don't know, I was surprised at the amount of people I talked to that, within the first 2 days of it dropping Volume 2, that they were watching it. And I'm sure the Kate Bush numbers continue to reflect the strength of
What did you think of them using the song again as prominently as they did? Did you feel it cheapened it, or was it just as effective?
So I was good with them using it throughout. I didn't necessarily feel like it cheapened it, because it kind of became
The anthem of the season?
the anthem, yeah,
Exactly.
and of that character. I think definitely didn't hit the way it did the first time they played it. With to me, like, the Dear Billy Max scene was the highlight of the season, and was probably one of the top moments of of the whole series. But I like that they kind of wove it in, and I liked hearing in the trailers. It got me like amped for the show to come back. So it didn't really cheapen it for me.
Yeah, it didn't for me either. I was just interested in if you guys thought that.
No, I liked it. It'll be interesting to see. It seems like music has started to take a more prominent role in the show, so it'll be interesting to see if. I guess they're gonna probably continue. I hope they continue to go that route next season, because that was fun.
Yeah,
the
for
Metallica
that, like,
stuff was fun too.
I was reading guitar
That
players
was really well done.
were able to figure out Master of Puppets was the song in the trailer.
Yeah,
Was from the guitar chords and stuff.
yeah.
Which is pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, apparently the actor could actually play guitar.
Yeah,
which
he
was-
played it.
He played it, everything he said except for the crazy solo they had brought somebody in for. But
Yeah, that was probably Robert Trujillo's kid who did that part, because he was the one who played it he was credited in the credits and stuff like that. And
That makes sense. Yeah.
and Robert Trujillo from Metallica like tweet or post on Instagram or Twitter after the fact, congratulating his son for it and saying how awesome it was to be in Stranger Things.
that's cool. I didn't know that. So that's a neat little tidbit.
Yeah, because they couldn't have it be like the actual version, because it's supposed to be a live version that he's doing. So they needed to get someone that could play it like really damn well.
Yeah, it was that scene was well done. Very well done.
Yeah.
Kate said Steve deserves better than Nancy Wheeler.
This is very true.
No argument there.
Yeah. Nancy Wheeler's terrible.
Steve wants who he wants, though.
I think she got a lot better though in this season.
She did.
Than in the
She did.
past. She was a lot more interesting. She was kind of badass, actually, with that shotgun.
Yeah.
Even though, why don't they just fucking like attack at the same time? Why do they like, let's individually fucking throw fire and then we'll individually shoot them after the fact? Fucking go all hands on deck. Fucking shoot him and throw fire, cut his head off, do all that shit all at the same time.
I thought Nancy was gonna get like her head cut off, like at that one point. Like she's looking badass with her shotgun shooting him, and then whoosh, like a tentacle just comes out and just knocks her head off.
That would have been a cool twist if Steve talking about how Nancy's gonna like be the mother of all his kids, and then they killed Nancy. That would have been a cool fucking fake out.
I was half expecting that. Yeah.
Because it would have followed like the rule, but like just tweaked it.
Yeah.
To kill the other person in the dream, or about the future.
I would have been good with that.
But they didn't do
Surprised
that.
Nancy killed. But I mean, the Max thing was a shock to me until it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was
No,
like,
She was actually alive.
When Max was in Lucas's like arms and shit, like after she's like, I can't see anything, like, and fucking he's like crying, screaming out to his sister and shit, like. That was fucking great. That would have been a great death scene.
Yeah.
And really fucking been impactful. And then they undercut it again.
They can't kill off.
They couldn't even wait till the after credits this time. They did it like 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never even saw anything. Like you were just expecting that she was dead, and then the next scene, they're just like, "Oh no, she's alive. She's a vegetable, but she's alive."
You know what bugged me, and I don't know that it's such a minor issue, but the fact that when they were like, she was dead for a minute clinically, and I was like, how the fuck would anyone know that? Like, there was no, she wasn't at the hospital when she died. Like,
they didn't fucking have a stopwatch.
Yeah, I feel like how the hell would anyone?
Lucas
know
just
that?
knew. He counted.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. I was just like shook my head when they said that line. I was like, whatever.
I didn't think about that.
There's no way that an ambulance would have gotten there that quick. She was already dead, and like Erica was just like down the running down the stairwell, probably at that point, grabbing the phone.
Yeah, and weren't the earthquakes happening at that point? Like the world
how would they have gotten
there? Completely chaotic. Like I doubt she would have been the first person anyone rescued.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the hospitals were like a mess. Yeah. They're trying to stitch back together that jock that was cut in half.
You know he'd be first priority. The white boy jock in the town.
No, but it's okay because Eleven's able to bring people back to life now.
He halved himself.
Yeah, he halved himself.
He's yeah. So those were those our two deaths? Was there anybody else that died in
Eddie was episode? The only. Eddie was really the only death. I don't really count the jock because he was just a stupid character.
Brenner in the second to last episode.
Oh yeah, Brenner.
Yeah, Brenner died again.
Yeah, Brenner died the second time.
They brought him back just to kill him again a few episodes later.
Duffers like claim that they always intended to bring him back. I was like, yeah, okay.
Sure. Coming from the two guys that have been like low-key retconning things in the background with their seasons of the shows. They've been doing like straight up George Lucas fucking special edition shit on the previous seasons. It's hilarious. And they're not even telling people about it. People are just noticing it on rewatches. Like, that wasn't there before, was it? No, it wasn't.
Well, they said like if you watch the last episode the night it aired versus the following day, like it had changed already. They had like different shots and stuff that they put in there. So I was like, that's interesting.
They were also called out for not celebrating
Will's birthday.
Sad boy Will's birthday. So then they changed his birthday.
Yeah. Because like the recording was on the same day as as Will's birthday from when they did in the first season or whatever. And like no one just talked about it, made it equally more sad. It's like this character is getting like the shit on completely by everyone. He's got this fucking terrible haircut. No one even knows that he even exists.
Yeah, it's sad to be Will.
No one notices that he's crying in the car, like sobbing.
He's got to have yeah, he was fucking sobbing like. Fucking Mike.
Mike's just like, her.
Stupid ass Mike. He's like,
thanks, man. Appreciate the advice.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks, good old pal.
No, shut the fuck up and stop making noise. I'm celebrating in my moment. I'm being awesome.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Someone should have been like, this is kind of a weird moment. Should we just like play this a little differently?
I mean, Argyle's not going to notice because he was probably fucking sleeping and high out of his mind.
Yeah, he's not.
Nor would he understand what the hell's happening. He doesn't understand the dynamics. But
could you imagine like sitting next to somebody and you have this conversation, they're just like bawling all of a sudden next to you, and you're just like, cool, man. Like it wasn't even like Mike was just like, oh, this is awkward. Mike was just had no idea.
No clue.
Not a fucking clue. Apparently Mike's deaf. That was something they never got to, that he's seriously hearing impaired. Maybe they'll mention that in Stranger Things 5.
That scene in the Surfer Boys or Surfer Bros pizza when they were trying to like take over the pizza joint, like killed me
That was
with
fun.
Argyle.
Yeah,
Great
that's
character.
where. Yeah, I'm not. It's kind of weird.
I've heard a lot of other people complain about Argyle, so you're not
Oh,
alone.
come on.
Um,
He's a fun-loving guy, fun-loving stoner guy.
I'm sure he'll die in the next one because he's a new character, so
Probably.
his days are numbered. He'll probably die in like the premiere, or he'll just leave and go back to California.
I think I heard somewhere that they're bringing Dustin's girlfriend back.
Oh, Susie?
Makes sense.
Oh,
Susie Pooh's got to come back.
yeah, Dusty
Does she
Buns.
though?
Or Dusty
Does she have
Bun.
to come
Dusty
back?
Bun and Susie Pooh. Yeah, she's vital to the show. They're still going out.
How the fuck are they going to get her to Hawkins? Like, she's just going to end up just there? Like,
No, she's probably been on her own way ever since they left in the pizza van.
They really like bent over backwards to get her on the show.
They really did.
Yeah.
They don't let their characters die. I mean, yeah, they'll still be going out because it takes place right after. So it only makes sense for her to make her way back to Hawkins, or finally make her way to Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
Little love triangle between her, Dustin, and Steve.
Maybe. If we could be so lucky.
all the love triangles next season. It really would be because we would have Mike 11. Wait, is it just Mike 11 and Will?
Yeah.
Dustin, Susie, and Steve.
Steve, Nancy,
Steve
and
will
Jonathan.
also.
Steve's in
Nancy,
multiple
Jonathan.
triangles.
Yeah,
I
I think that's it.
I could see Robin
Yeah.
dying next season.
Yeah, because she's not a season 1 cast member, so of course she could see her dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. I didn't kind of like her character less in this season, to be honest. I liked her more in season 3 when she was more of like a wise ass and less of a like goof. Nice that she got the happy ending and all, but she's basically dating herself if like her and that person get together.
Yeah, that's like the same exact person.
I don't necessarily know if that'll work out, but
overall it was pretty satisfying. I thought part 2 definitely made the whole season as a whole tie up pretty nicely for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this season was very flawed, but
more flawed than the past seasons, you think?
Yeah, I would say so. But it was their most ambitious, and it was still overall enjoyable.
Do you think they bring back 8 from that one episode in season 2?
I think they're like
They're pretending that episode never
forget
happened.
that. Like, yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah, that episode is.
It was the most.
That episode's probably deleted off of Netflix already.
So bad.
They come up with
already took it off.
Some new reason why 11 disappeared for an episode and returns.
You just rewatch the season and that episode isn't even there. It's just something completely different.
She just hangs out with her mom for longer and then returns to Hawkins. Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying, Doug?
Yeah, I have no idea.
This season was ambitious, most ambitious yet.
Yeah, but it was. I think the good outweighed the bad, but there was a lot of flaws. AKA the Russia plot line was pretty bad. I mean, there's a ton of cheesiness, but some of it's endearing.
Do they Back to the Future to it with the fact that the Upside Down is like locked in that one time? Do they go back and walk past their like young selves and shit?
They could. It's possible.
That's just like they have too much money that they just need to like
I was thinking
recreate all the kids and make them all young again.
I was thinking of other influences that could be for the next season.
Well, they're gonna have to spend like insane amount of money on like special effects and makeup to make everyone look younger, like all of the kids. Not the adults aren't going to make that much of a difference, and even probably even the teenagers, but like all the kids. There's
Well, Hopper, they'd have to like get fat again.
Add him up.
Yeah, fat him up again.
Here's some
But
pies, David
but
Harper.
It's going to take place right after the season, so he's got to be chiseled again. Unless he gets fat, like, within a couple days of being back in Hawkins.
That'd be kind of funny.
I was really hungry.
It starts like 3 days after season 4 ended, and he's back to his little, portly self.
Hair's grown out. He's got the
His
mustache
dad bod.
again.
Yeah, it's like what? He ate some waffle surprises or whatever the fuck he called that, like that waffle thing that he made.
I don't think this is the strongest season, but
No, I don't either.
it was. I thought it was still enjoyable. It was really ambitious. Could have done without like every character having their own monologue in Volume 2.
Oh, you mentioned that in text to me.
They all had like 5-minute monologues about how they're feeling, and I was just like, this is really like lazy writing.
This is the 80s. You're Generation X. You're not supposed to talk about your feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that. I hate monologues as a method of delivering like character emotions.
Yeah.
Because it's just lazy. It's just like, let me tell you everything this character's thinking.
You apparently don't like when people cry either.
I don't like when people cry and then the character that's sitting right next to them is oblivious to it. Mike's come off as like such an asshole this last season.
Yes.
It's not even this last season. Season 3.
Yeah,
He's
He's an asshole too.
He was fucking with Hopper all season 3. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm hooking up with your daughter. Like, they had a whole fucking problem in Stranger Things 3.
Yeah,
Mike
when
used to be like such a good kid. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, when I
Really got the
rewatched
best of
it,
him.
he is definitely like a fucking asshole. He's a little asshole. Now not so little.
But yeah, it was good. I think the villain was the
Our
best.
height. Yes, villain was the best.
And I dug the going more mature and darker this season than they have in seasons past. I still think they're going to do a Terminator 2. 11's going to be like, there's one more left before we can completely close the Upside Down, and she's going to have to kill herself.
Mike will be crying, and fucking Will will be fucking yes. Yeah,
She'll do like a thumbs up.
You probably
she
will.
like fades away.
As she sinks into the lava.
91 ain't that far away. Cameron's been a clear influence already. Like, Aliens was a big part of season 2.
Yeah.
And it's already like the Terminator against Terminator.
They did Terminator
Yeah,
with that
the
one Russian guy in season 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense that they would go with a T2 type thing.
Yeah, and I see
So,
11 as and Vecna. They're both like Terminators, basically fighting each other. So
All right,
I'd be
so
cool with that.
you heard it here first. 11 sacrificing herself, dying in Stranger Things 5.
Or it'd be fun if they could just like Will sacrifices himself because
Because
no one likes Will.
why wouldn't that happen to Will?
Because he's the heart.
That would have no emotional impact if they took Will out.
No. The audience would just be like, why are you still inflicting so much pain on this kid?
Yeah, they can't
His
touch Will.
His short life has been nothing but heartbreak.
Yeah, I could see 11 being the one that they need to take out. I feel like that'd have a lot of emotional impact.
Did you see the theory that Vecna brought Will into the Upside Down in season 1?
I thought he did.
Yeah, didn't he say that he did?
I thought he said he did.
He's been
I missed that.
yeah, he in his
Okay,
giant
I saw the theory before
monologue.
the finale, but I must have missed that part.
Yeah, in his monologue, he says like he's been the whole, like the whole thing, like
Yeah, Vecna goes on
I've
like a
been
10-minute
controlling-
monologue
Yeah.
about how it's
I've
been
been pulling
him
the strings
time.
all along. All along, it was me.
I get tired of his long monologues. There's only so much I can pay attention to.
Before I kill you, here, listen to my 10-minute conversation about how it's been me all along.
Monologuing. Pulls a syndrome from Incredibles.
It was who was it from WandaVision? It was
Agatha Harkness.
Agatha. It was Agatha
Yeah.
all along. It was Vecna all along.
All right. Well, the people were right then. It was Vecna who took Will to the Upside Down in season 1. And what I was going to say was the music. Remember in season 1, he was all about, when he was in the Upside Down, he was all about singing that one song.
Yeah, the Clash.
Yeah, the Clash song that Jonathan
Mhm.
introduced him to. So I don't know, was that his way of protecting himself in the Upside Down? Was that through that song? Was
Yeah,
that them?
maybe.
They
I
were.
mean, that would be a good retcon.
Yeah, I'm sure
it'd
it'd
be
be
a very good
I'm sure it
retcon.
would be a retcon. It wasn't the actual plan from the start, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it seems like something that falls in line with what's occurred this season.
It's very George Lucas of them.
Yeah. Although it would be unbelievable that Will found a happy place that he was able to protect himself.
Good point. Good point.
Least happy character.
Will, what a sad boy. All right. Anything else? I feel like we've exhausted our. I mean, we could go on just joking, but I think we've exhausted our actual analysis of Stranger Things 4.
Kate Bush and Metallica now rising on the charts. See how high they go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I like when that stuff happens.
Same. All right. Well, that's all we got. Thank you again for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all those things. Comment. Have a blast. And then, as for our next episode, we'll definitely be talking about the Boys finale and the Ms. Marvel finale, the Thor, Love and Thunder. We'll talk about that one. And, we'll see what else we get to in a week or two when we do our next episode. But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll see you again next time, film fans.
Bye.